Hi Stampers, I've got a scary little Halloween project for you today. This is my little card that's a shaker card, and I'm going to show you how to make this little shaker image here and the card, and we'll get started because there's quite a few steps to it, but it's a really fun card to make, so I hope you enjoy it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of old olive cardstock, and this measures 8.5 inches long by 5.5 inches wide, and you're just going to score down the center like you normally would at 4.25 inches, and that's the base of our card. The next little part we're going to get started with is we're actually going to show you how to make this crinkled part, which is made out of Concord Crush, the purple. And the way you do that is you're going to take just a regular spray bottle of water, and you're going to go ahead and spray your cardstock and get it nice and wet, and then you're just going to go ahead and start folding it. And really literally just squishing it together to get nice wrinkles in it. And you're going to unfold it and squish it the other way. And when you unfold it in doing this motion, you don't want to rip the paper, so just be careful when you do that. And then just open it up gently and just keep doing that until you get a nice crinkled look. And you're going to set this aside and let it dry because you don't want to apply it while it's with glue while it's wet. If it doesn't dry fast enough, you can use your embossing, your heat gun, to get this dry faster, but we'll set it aside. It'll probably be ready when we're ready. So the next part that we're going to do is we're going to be working on this little part, and this is all embossed, and I've used the stamp set from the Sweet Centers set, which is called Sweet Centers, and this is the EEK Your Sweet, our little Halloween one. So we're going to take another piece of white cardstock, and I've got a piece of just like copy paper that I've laid down here just to catch some of our stamping powder, our embossing powder. And this is our cardstock that we're actually going to be stamping on, which is Whisper White. We're going to take some Versamark. I'm going to go ahead and get that stamp real nice and wet with the Versamark. And just kind of check it, make sure it's real nice and wet. You can kind of tell in the light if you move it around, you can kind of see it glistening a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp down real good on our cardstock. Now you're going to take your black embossing powder and go ahead and spread it out on top of the cardstock. And we'll go ahead and tap that off onto our copy paper here. Make sure that we got all the pieces. Looks like we've missed a little bit on the end there, so I'm just going to go ahead and run it through there one more time just to make sure. And just kind of tap it off, make sure you don't have any excess on your card. Alright, and we'll be cutting around this as well, so we don't have to worry about it from the outside. We just want to make sure it's got good coverage on the inside of the stamp. We'll go ahead and move this out of our way before we use the embossing gun. And I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. And you'll start to see how it turns a real shiny black, which means that it's ready. And just kind of give it a good look to make sure that you've got it all heat embossed, and that looks good. So then what we'll do is we'll just cut around this image, and you can also use a little clippers here, or little tongs, or these are actually called hemostats, to hold that while you're heat embossing it if the paper gets too warm for you. And I'm just going to go ahead and clip around the outside of this using a straight edge scissor. If you want to use your trimmer, you can, but it's usually not necessary on something that's this easy to trim around. Oh God, this is so cute. I love this one. Okay, so that's all finished. So now we want to try to get our shaker part made. Well, Stampin' Up! Has come up with something called shaker frames, which are so fabulous. What they are is you actually get 6 of them, and there's concentric circles in here. The biggest one starting at 2 inches going all the way into about a 1/2 inch, and they go in graduations of a 1/4 inch apiece. So the one that we're going to be using is the second one in, which would be not 2 inches, but a 1/4 inch smaller than that, which is 1 3/4 inches. And we're going to go ahead and just pull that shaker frame off of here. It's very sticky on both sides. The top layer still has a piece of tape across it. We're going to keep that on until we're ready to apply the top portion. We'll go ahead and just use our little piercing tool to pull it off. And then you can use the other ones for other projects. So there's a lot of different projects you can do with that one little set. We're going to go ahead and apply this right on top of our image here, right around the outer circle. And what this is going to do is create the framework so that we can put our glitter inside. You could put glitter in there, you could put little candies in there, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be using some glass glitter. We're going to go ahead and put a nice little amount inside. Now I haven't taken off the actual tape on the top here, the glue part yet. So what I wanted to do next is I'm going to take a window sheet, and I don't know how well you can see this, but this is actually a clear piece of like vinyl that we're actually going to be cutting with our punch. And I'm going to use the 1 3/4 inch punch, and all you have to do is just punch that down, and it'll get you a nice little circle like this. So I've got my little circle cut. So now that we're ready to take this tape off, we're going to go ahead and just pull that off, and then your little window sheet is going to actually go right over the top of this, and that will form your door so that your glitter doesn't come out. And there's your little shaker frame. Now, in order to get this a little bit nicer looking so that we don't see the frame itself, we're going to go ahead and be using a little scallop to go around the outside, and I'll show you how I did that. It's pretty simple. First of all, you want to make your center. So you do your center first and then the outer part around it. So I've got my 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and 1 1/4 inch circle punch. I'm going to give myself enough room on the outside so that I have enough room for my scallop punch to come in over that. So we'll go ahead and punch that out. Then we're going to take our scallop circle and put it right in the center of that hole. So that way it'll be even around all sides, and then punch that out. So now what you've got is you've got this cute little scallop that's going to go on top of that. So that'll just kind of hide that a little bit for you so you can't see the shaker frame as easily. I'm just going to take a little Tombow and apply it, and that will stay down in place. Oops, let's get it centered a little better. There we go. And you have a nice little frame for your shaker frame. So now that we're done with that part, the next thing that we're going to do is start making the sides of our card here, because we want to make sure that that purple paper, our Concord Crush, gets dry enough. So I've got a small strip of white cardstock, and this is our DSP cardstock, and this is from the Frightful Sights DSP. This is so cute. There's little kitties in there, there's little ghosts, little spiders, adorable. Little pumpkins on the other side. So this is the paper we're going to be using. I'm going to be using the spiders. So I just went ahead and I took a small piece of it and I just ripped it. I'm going to do the same thing with the white. I'm just going to go ahead and rip that just to kind of distress it a little bit more. And we're going to take our Concord Crush ink and a sponge, and we're going to go ahead and just kind of sponge over this and really make it look like it's been through the ringer here. And we're going to do that with the white as well. And I'm even going to take my Concord Crush pad and I'm going to turn it and really distress this. And I'm just going to make lines using the pad in different directions. So this just kind of gives it a really nice look. So we're done with this little part. Then we're going to go ahead and just attach these two pieces together using a little bit of snail. There we go. And then I'm going to take some twine, and we're just going to wrap the twine around it a few times. And then we'll just tie it off at the front. Just kind of give it a little bit more interesting look there with the twine. So I'm just going to make a knot there, and then we'll trim that off. Then the only other part we really have to do now is just make our little saying. And I've done part of that already just to speed up the process a little bit. I used the Big Shot, and I took my embossing folder, the square lattice, and I went ahead and ran a piece of Whisper White cardstock through it, just a little scrap. And I've got my little saying here, Happy Halloween. And this is from the Teeny Tiny Wishes set. And again, I'm going to use my Concord Crush ink and go ahead and just stamp Happy Halloween on here. I have to stamp it a little bit darker because it's already impressed. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and distress this piece of cardstock and maybe run it through the pad a little bit more just to get it nice and distressed looking. And then we'll just go ahead and tear around this piece as well. And tearing, the easiest way to remember how to tear is just always hold your thumb where you're tearing. I always tear it towards me to get the actual paper to come up on the other side. If you go the opposite way, it's actually going to make it smoother looking. And there's that little piece. And then we'll just be sticking this right inside of here. We'll use a little Tombow to put that back in there. So now that our paper is dry, and it seems like it is, there we go, we're going to go ahead and apply this to our card. And I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid Tombow because I think that'll hold it the best. So we'll do that. And then we'll let this dry a little bit while we get our other things together. So we'll go ahead and put that on, and we'll hold this down here a little bit better. And that should hold it in place pretty well. And I can't believe Halloween is around the corner already. It's just amazing. Then what I did to apply this is I've actually taken a couple of dimensionals and I applied it with that, but you could also use the Tombow on this. And then this part of the card, I again just used a little bit of Tombow and put it on there, and you have the cutest little Halloween shaker card. Just love it. Enjoy, have a great Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.